So, oh, first moving part, as that goes a little bit louder fast, let me turn that off. We're not going to hold that side. Hold on 1 second. It's a little loud on this side. Okay, we are back on. This will be fun for the recording. I will tell you all what just happened and you'll love it because this is like true life of entrepreneurship. We're gonna, nope, just keep rocking. So full time, what we do on these introductions is make sure we get to know each other. What's your business? So write this down. What's your business? Where you're zooming this in from. And then tonight's topic is retention. Okay. So last month we did a full hour concentrated conversation training about what actual retention means. Well, drum roll, please. We're on to part 2. So you didn't miss anything if you didn't, activate that last training. I'm just going to now teach 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the second half of that question is, how do you see yourself as a business owner when it comes to retention? It could be, Connie, I have a beautiful retention plan. Hop off the Zoom and I'll take it from here. Or it can be, I intermittently do retention with some of my current clients or some of my current, strategic partners, but I really struggle with seeing that as a consistent, part of my business model. Because really for me as a strategy coach, the ultimate goal, ladies, is to take your marketing, your sales, your networking, and build it to where you are scaling a retained clientele. That is the ultimate goal. And I'll give myself as the first example, and then I'll explain that sound right there because it will be full circle. So I'm Connie Kercher. I've been an entrepreneur coach for over 15 years. I turned into, entrepreneur mode from higher education, where I built business models. I helped colleges actually, teach the curriculum of what it is to be an entrepreneur. And then as I built my business all the way up to being a consultant and assistant vice president, I knew that I was like, there's too much red tape. I have too much energy. I want to be able to do this fully on my own. And that was many, many years ago. So what that rolls into is retention is something so close to me because now I live fully nomadic. I live fully nomadic on a boat. And what just went out was the AC. Because on St. Thomas, USVI is where we live right now. We have a thing called WAPA, and that is our power and electricity, and it goes on and off on the island. So welcome to island living, everybody. So I have a fan beside me, but the AC power just turned off. All my devices are on a power strip and a backup server because I've done this long enough. We've lived down here for a year, but the AC just turned off, and I'm like, I love being an entrepreneur because you get real time. So let's go round robin, share your business, share where you're calling in from. If you can beat the story that your AC just turned off on a boat on your own training call, I'll give you $100. I mean, that's just so good. So we're going to go with Krista. It's so good to see you back. And then Karma will go introductions. And then again, tonight's training and content is going to be specific about retention.
All right. So I am Krista. I am coming from Ontario, Canada, and I am here in the capacity of a business I'm doing with my uncle that's a agricultural database that connects people in the egg industry with one another, as well as we are in the process of getting our feet off the ground and publishing a monthly magazine of the same kind of topic. So I joined him in this business venture in April of this year. So I'm not a full year into it yet. I would say that my personal retention with it is not too bad. I'm working off of a list that existed from someone before. So I am really trying to engage with all of the contacts that were given to me. And I'm just working on that right now. I haven't really built any of my own contacts or anything. So
Okay, beautiful. Glad you're here for round 2. Awesome, Krista. All right, Karma and then Belinda.
Hello, I'm Karma, and I am a somatic and embodiment coach and a psychedelic guide and integration coach. I'm coming from Boulder, Colorado, and retention. My business is very new. I moved here about 3 years ago from Maui, so I understand island living. I'm building. I'm in the process of building a business, and I have so many different avenues that I have available to me. So I think I just feel overwhelmed, and I've been hearing a lot about Connie. So here I am.
Awesome.
I'm a powerhouse polka dot from Colorado. So
Awesome. Awesome. So glad you are here, and we will have all the island talk connect at some point then in the next couple weeks. All right, Belinda and then Samantha.
All right, so I'm Belinda Alford, and my business, I am passionate about helping small business owners and solopreneurs take care of themselves and their teams without breaking the bank. And part of that has to do with uh, creating systems and processes that allow them to scale their business, but in such a way that they can bring on help without having to start over every single time when something doesn't work out. So that helps in regards to retention, because when you can keep a virtual assistant without having to go through many, it's all about systems and processes. And I help create frameworks for business owners, because a lot of times people don't know exactly what they need to do and what they need to document. And so I help with that.
Awesome. Teach me for because you're a process driven. I mean, trust me, let's talk data, sheets, and let's talk 2030, because in our minds, that's tomorrow. Teach me for your retention model. Have you moved to the point where you have clients, what I would call on retainers or maintenance plans, so that they have done the bulk of the work with you, but then have you moved some of your book of business where that they are, just of service on a 1 year or longer term contract with you?
No, actually, I started my business, then I put it on pause for a long
Beautiful.
time,
Beautiful.
and I am ramping back up again.
Okay.
So what I tend to do is we get the ball started, and
Yep.
then they go from there. One of the things that I'm working on now is I integrated it within my networking business, if you will, and I call it the Poindexter way.
Love it. Love it.
So
Love it. Okay. Okay.
I'm
Glad
in
you are here.
I'm in Allen, Texas.
Awesome. 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 Used to live in Rockwall, Texas.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Love, 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 love. Good. Did you watch the football game last night?
Yep. I don't watch football. I don't have my
know
TV.
that it's the Texans and it's the Cowboys, and I guess it was a big deal. Okay, I love it. Samantha, I'm glad you're here. Belinda, Samantha, and then Jesse.
Hello, everyone. I'm Samantha with More Than Serendipity Visual Marketing. I help you show up online through brand photography and social media coaching. And I am the founder of the Plandipity Doers, which is a membership community designed to inspire and support and help hold you accountable so you do your social media marketing. I would say I do a few things in the world of retention, but nothing that is in the level of an SOP yet, which is something I would like to get to. My retention rates are pretty good, but because they're not in any kind of SOP or policy or procedure, I'm not really tracking them well. I just have a good feel that it is good for the most part, which is probably why I haven't spent any time on it yet.
Okay. Okay. You're like, it's there, so it's good. It's just not out of my head onto paper yet.
Not yet.
I'll send you the meme and all things will be good. All right.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Jesse, give us a check-in.
Okay, I'm Jessie Rumber. I'm calling in from Arvada, Colorado. I am an estate planning attorney. So by definition, there is no retention in estate planning because it's kind of a one and done. But that's not how I roll. Most of my clients come to me because they attended a presentation that I gave or a table I sponsored at an expo. And so we have already by the time they call me, we already have a relationship, or they come in through a referral. And so the first thing we do is spend time talking about how that relationship developed and really rooting in them this sense that, I'm their person. And so even after their estate plan is done, most of these people call me because they need a referral to an attorney who doesn't do what I do, but I would know somebody and they trust me. And it's really building that long-term relationship where they feel like they can call me for anything legal related. And then every 3 to 5 years, they get either a phone call or a letter from me asking them if they need an update.
Amazing.
or if I can help them in any other way. And
Amazing.
it almost always results in some contact, even if it's a, hey, I don't need anything, but I thought I'd pop in your voicemail and say hi.
I love it.
So,
I love it. Jesse, gold star for tonight. That was an awesome, succinct way of
well,
learning.
good, Connie, because I can't beat your stories and I'm way not as funny as you are.
I was like, that was awesome. That was great. Okay, so I love the check-in. Again, my style of coaching and my style of being of service is really to be fully focused and customize what I'm going to share tonight in terms of strategy 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10. And again, back up the train on my YouTube channel. There's last month's training, so you can get some of the foundational ones when I go through the slide deck, but we're going to start clean on number 6. And the one piece I do want to pay forward, and why I think it's full circle, that, I'm able to live fully nomadic. I'm able to not do as much face-to-face networking. I'm able to really slow down in terms of my outreach, sales, and marketing strategies to have more flexibility, is because over the last 5 years, I really did move my business model that I have about 40 to 60 clients that are fully retained. They're fully on now, a 1-year or 2-year contract with me. So I'm not having to have a revolving door or a high churn rate. So I give you that kind of data just to know, I've had a bigger book of business, I've had a smaller book of business, but for me, I knew I wanted to get to that retention model of a quantity of clients. Before I start the training, I think it would behoove you to go for 2025. What would serve you well of, like, what's your retention number, not just percentage, but actually quantity of humans. Now, related to what Jesse is saying, then I have 7 partnerships. Some of them are associations, some of them are actual paid organizations, some of them are businesses, where then I'm on 3-year contracts, 2-year contracts, 1-year contracts, to kind of be their a la carte person so that I know when we left the state of Colorado and knew that I'd be sailing, all the islands for 2023, 2024, 2025, about 75% of my book of business is coming from retention. Does that make sense? Like, I'm only responsible to sell or gain new clients for about 25% of my book of business. Okay. So I say that to go, I just want to explain the numbers. I want to explain that it's possible, whether it be a service-based business. I had brick and mortars, I've had products, I've had networking groups that are paid. I just want to scale that to a point to go, that honestly took about a 3 to 4 year strategy for me to be able to then be in a position to say, hey, organization, Jesse, that she goes and does this one awesome event. Well, maybe then you can say, hey, for the next 3 years, I'd love to do quarterly trainings for you all. And I'd love to do this event for this bucket of money that we got one more retention plan for her. So Jesse, the one piece I'm going to encourage for you, because you are more of a plug and play, one and done. And then Belinda, I would say the other way when I'm talking 6 through 10 is, don't just think B to C. For everyone else on the call, kind of have your blinders on of, like, my business retention model is business to clientele. And how do I maintain them, keep them engaged, keep them adulting in my business? For Jesse and Belinda and anyone else watching the recording, think about a blend where about 70% is B2C. I'm doing some engagement points, I'm doing some follow-up, but then 30, maybe even 40% is I'm working with organizations that they pay me to do my gig for the next 3 years at their conference, the next 3 years at their leadership team, the next 3 years at their professional development day. And I start building a longer term retention plan with those more sustainable business models. And you're not having to put out so many speaking engagement proposals. You're not having to do so many free workshops at every chamber from, Canada down to Mexico. Like, you really get intentional to go, the ones that I can massage out, what's holding you back? Like, I don't know another coach that goes to a chamber or goes to an organization and go, hey, to work with me is going to be another 3-year contract. I do it all the time because I'm not willing to go, like, I'm going to maybe try, like, after we've done a year and after we've done 2 years and they see transformation, it's win-win. Let's build a 3-year plan together. Okay, so I just want to, because my number one strength is futuristic. And before I get into the tactile, steps for tonight, it's okay to start asking for longer term pieces. That's not a strategy that I'm going to say is number 6. It's a mindset to go, I don't care if you have a 1-year-old business. I don't care if you have a 10-year-old business. once you have an established partnership, to start thinking about years of contracts. I have one-on-one clientele, just one-on-one coaching clients that's on a 3-year coaching program with me. She's coached with me for 2 years, and then I gave her my option to go, hey, we really want to scale and grow. Here's my 3-year contract to work with me. Okay. And we get finicky of like, I'm going to offer 5 hours and I hope that they do that. I'm like, okay, you're going to be selling to them in 1 week. Like that's going to be an awkward conversation. So, and it was appropriate for her of what she wanted to do with her and her team. So I just give that as framework to go, please take the timeline and go, I know that we're looking at, the next 6 weeks, but I'm honestly thinking in like the next 2 years. Is that fair for everybody to get into Connie's head on that? Okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and screen share, y'all. Let me get through. Boom, boom, boom. Give me a thumbs up if you can see play from start. You can see the slide deck. Awesome. And like I said, I'm going to coach here for about 21.5 minutes on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to come full screen. And I am going to ask out of these next 5, which is the one you want to take action on. So don't get freaked out that when I, leave this screen that you're not able to see all of the moving parts. Yep, I will definitely share the link for the first round after tonight's call. Happy to do that. Please make sure that you're like prepared to be like, I'm going to circle option 7 of what Connie talked about, because for me as an educator, it's so important that you retain 20% of tonight. You're not going to retain it all. You can watch the video 6 times, but I want to hear which was the one that's going to move you into action to actually kind of chew on for your retention plan. Okay, so let's go ahead and slide into the slide deck, and then we're going to get going on the second half. So again, customer retention in terms of the way that I love to lean into my clients, educate around this topic of like, oh, retention, what is it? Is it me sending holiday cards and pumpkin pies? Like I don't know what my retention plan is. The goal is long-term, it's more profitable. That's the goal. So we spend a lot of money and time on small or, tchotchke items, on smaller gimmicky, touch points, if you will, what I call engagement, adulting, ways to try to get them to just re-engage with you. I want you to think long-term, you are the thought leader they always go to. That's what a retention model is that they have worked with you once, they've worked with you twice, they've worked with you 7 times, no matter how many, times they have been part of your business model, they go, she's the one. She's the one that does this. That is why you build retention to go, even when you're on a maintenance plan with them, they need a refresher with you. They know that you're always building, a better book of business, a better way of doing. I'm responsible to stay on top of the trends for my industry. Your goal is to become the thought leader in your customer base's eyes. Okay. So the way that I want you to think about this is the 3 R's. You can track, because I'm a data-driven professor. They loved me at the university, right? I was still exciting, but I still had the nerdy side where I was like, if that's not data-driven, we're not making decisions this way. You want to increase the reviews for social proof. A way of you tracking is repeat sales to go, do these strategies even work for me, Connie? Like I need a KPI for them. I need something to know, was my time or dollar spent well in this? And then did you see an increase in referrals? I'm a big believer, like, let me give you a matrix to go, did I do it or did I not? I'm not a big coach to be like, let's do Pinterest and pray it works and get all the things. Like, I'm not that coach. I'm the person that like, if you do want to do the Pinterest retention strategy, the 3 things we are tracking is, did you get an increase in reviews? Can you tangibly tie the correlation to repeat sales? And then did referrals increase? That's a great tracking mechanism. I don't care what Trello boards you're on, CRM systems you're board on. Even if this is like, Connie, this is my first day on a professional development training. Congratulations. We just taught you something that for some of us, we didn't do the first 3 years and we wish we had the data for. Okay. So those are the 3 ways I want you thinking, does this work towards me? And maybe I have a matrix every month with me, myself, and I as the business owner to see if some of my retention tactics are working. Okay. So I'm going to roll here. And again, we've already covered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So don't think that I'm not going to give you awesome value on that. I'll just send the recording through the Facebook world. Now we're on 6. So fast forward and go start lining these out. Go strategy 6 in your notes. The concept is personal shopping appointments. And I'm not saying that you need to now open up a clothing store where they're shopping, outfits with you and capsule wardrobes. Not at all. What I'm saying is that you start looking at your top 10 individuals that you want to retain. What do I mean by that? They absolutely do not question your price point. They absolutely have been a great referral partner with you. So it's for individuals that they're in that middle to kind of end stage of working with you. Okay. These are not for your beginner. I'm kind of scared to work with Samantha. Karma, I'm not sure, what this is going to look like, but I'll dip my toe into your 3-month coaching program and, some of your workshops. This strategy isn't for those humans to retain. This is for your middle kind of ride and die people. And then almost you're like exit people and you're like, goodbye, farewell. I don't know what to do with you. That's what would be appropriate for this. Is that then you open up, because a lot of what we offer, not all of our clientels know that we could do this type of coaching, this type of service. They just know you in the capacity in which they work with you. So when I have someone about 80% done in their contract, okay, I will offer them the concept. I don't call it this, but I'm teaching you guys the concept. I'm taking the curtain back. A personal shopping appointment where I say, hey, for 20 minutes, before you renew your contract with me, before we talk about is the retreat a good fit, this type of refit, I want to make sure that you get a full scope of what I am available to do or what my power partners are available to do on my team. And let's make sure that we talk that through outside of coaching, outside of this, so that we get a full bundle that makes sense. Most of us at that exit time of the renewal process just go what's the contract? I need a discount at 14% because it's my 14th year in business. And then I hope that they sign. That's our strategy. Okay. So for your middle ride and die people, or your people that are about to, exit in terms of in their renewal process. And I've done this with all my business models, all of them, whether I've been a contract employee for a networking group, my own coaching business, brick and mortar, running a magazine, all these things are really, really pertinent. And you just open up a top 10 list to say, I've got next Thursday at 9, at 10, at 11, at 12, right? So you send them your scheduling link to go, I want to make sure that before you ever put your budget aside, before we ever talk about, the renewal, let's talk holistically what I can offer you. And then I'll be able to customize a proposal. Notice that you don't do this to an entry-level person or even a second-time person. It's not worth your free time of 20 minutes to do that. Okay. So it helps you navigate what is an appropriate, instead of just the first time they worked with me, this is what the contract was, but you never know. I'll use Samantha, for example. You never know yet, Samantha, with social media. If I'm killing it on my reels, but I bought the reels package and I bought the Plandippity Doer membership and I bought, 5 hours to work with my content calendar. You don't really know what was the perceived value on my end. I may have shown up to some of the workshops. I may have activated some of the things you recommended. And I think the social media plan, is rock and rolling. But in these 20 minutes, I'm literally defining we can also move your dollars over here, or I can see that, hey, you have a high level of avoidance of doing some of the practices we've talked about. So maybe I need to bring that more in-house and your dollars need to be allocated this way. My clients love when I'm I can understand that you are having right now what I call a law of diminishing intent. You get on the coaching call with me, and then in 48 hours and in our session the next time, your law of intent was very high, but after 2 weeks, your activation of what we talked about is very low. So I think we actually need to break up our coaching sessions in this way. I think we need to do our accountability in this structure, right? So use the law of diminishing intent. Write that down. The adulting part of me, that's all I study is adulting learning theory, is people are not aware of what's happening. But in this personal shopping appointment, this customization of services is what I call it to my clients. But when I teach the concept, I want to teach you as the business owner, is that I'm literally saying, hey, I know we've put these things in your closet and 6 of them are sitting with dust. So why would I put that in your next round or I can see that your team is going into this, or I can see that maybe we need to add a workshop for, this specific type of piece that you're just not understanding the technical skills of this or the lifestyle skills of this. So I'm going to add a 3-hour VIP twice a year to this program. Okay. Everyone good on understanding this personal shopping appointment concept, when you would use it, how you would activate it and build it into about 80% their contracts to be done. And then ladies, don't make this like another 3-month commitment. Make this another year commitment that makes sense. We all know transformation doesn't happen on tonight's call. I will do my best tonight. I will kill it tonight. I know that transformation for any businesses minimum takes a 6-month window, more typically around 18 to sustain it. So you know that as business owners, why would you ever say, I'm going to give you your graduate degree in what you're working with me, but then you offer them a service package to go, but it only is going to take you K through 3rd grade. That doesn't make sense. If they want to get to K through doctorate level with you, you need to support them in all those levels and having that conversation and retaining them much longer. Okay, let's go to number 7. I'm going to make sure I scroll right here. Oh, it stopped the screen share. Of course it did. Let's go to number 7 one more time. There we go. Okay, number 7, ladies. I love to call this one your demonstration event. Okay. I also teed up a final example to go drum roll. I know Black Friday is happening here. If you're watching this live, it's in about 2 weeks, week and a half. If you're watching the recording, I hope you did something like this or put it on for next year. Super duper. So it's a demonstration event. You invite all contacts. So for this technique, I do this every single year. I don't care how big a book of business I have. I don't have how small it is. I do this to make sure that they see what I can do in action. This can be virtual, or this could be a face-to-face experience that you do at the local yoga studio for you, Carmen, or Karma, or you do, Belinda, at a local, co-working space somewhere in North Dallas. Like, it can be an actual tangible experience that then it gives you a broad kind of TED Talk. It gives you a broad kind of conversation to say, if you want to see me like in style of what we offer at the magazine and what the benefits have been and like this process, I've got a 1 o'clock, demonstration event, a 2 o'clock, a 3 o'clock. The way I like to coach this one is like, when you go to huge expos and it's like the knife guy, like the Sinsu knife guy, and you're like, I am here from 9 to 10 to 11 to 12 to da 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 da. It's awesome to be able to set that up and go, would you like seats too? Would you like tickets too? Would you like to come and do this virtually or face-to-face? And you just back them. It's a 9 o'clock, a 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, a 12 o'clock. You're doing the same presentation. You're doing the same demonstration of what it is for you to be seen as what? A thought leader. Okay, so you're like, what's my content, Connie? It's not a sales pitch. It's them saying, hey, if you want to learn stress management, for new era 2025, I'm going to give a 30-minute, experiential experience. Write that down. It needs to be experiential. Okay, it's not like just a show up and throw up on me kind of event. Not going to show up to that one. Okay, but it's really intentional that you make it for everyone. So it has to be kind of taught to the middle. It can't be taught to too high level to retain, but it's for your kind of looky-loos of like, I wanted to do something with you. I had to connect with you. I showed interest and then I ghosted you. Sometimes you don't know what to do with those people, right? Or they worked with you in one capacity for a shorter contract, and then you don't know how to retain them. You don't have an engagement point to do with them. This is a perfect technique to bring all of those buckets of your past clientele into one space. Okay. I would say starting virtually would be an option. Then maybe next year you move it to an actual face-to-face. If that coincides with, location and business model and things like that, if you really are trying to grow your local or regional experience. But I love being able to say, I've got a demonstration event for me. It's a behind the scenes or behind the stage ticket of what it's like to mastermind with me. So I'm giving you all these examples to go, you'll find something that works in your vernacular, but it's a demonstration event. It's not an info session, but it's an invite all contacts. It's a way for them to see you in action, and then a way for them to get their questions answered. Okay. I do this again, not just on, I'm giving you the example for Black Friday. Most of us do an email campaign as a retention tool. and probably no one's going to open that. I love you all. But you never really invited them to like a seat ticketed event. So you can call it, behind the scenes. You can say, a backstage pass. I only have 5 seats at my noon training and then my 2 training, but really work through and massage out to go, I've only got these many seats. I've got 4 different sessions throughout the day. And the other thing I want to pay forward to you all is that it's really viable to do this when you do vendor events. So every vendor event I signed up for when I'm running my service-based business is I was the only person that did this. And I'm telling you, I'll steal this and you'll steal this and then send me the thank you letter after. Okay. I would sign up for the vendor event at, Small Business Expo, Miami, whatever, Dallas, Texas. Let's rock and roll. You do your beautiful vendor table. You've got your sign up for your newsletter. You've got your you're so excited. What's missing are these demonstration events. So I would go and I would say, let's say the expo floor is open from 10 to 3. Okay. No matter what expo you're all at, you would know that they're set times. And I would go super duper. I'm doing prioritization, hacks for small business owners from 10 to 10:20. I had a line of events in my own event that was not my event, if that makes sense. So your vendor event needs to be this. It needs to be the knife, sessions that you're like, I've got a 1 o'clock, a 2 o'clock, a 3 o'clock. Rotate 3 topics. Say I've got 5 spots to come check it out. I'll be coaching on this. I'll, train you on this. And then you repeat for the next day. But I had literally just a 12 by 24 cardboard sign that it looked like I was running the education department for that expo. Right? They're like, oh, Connie's session is, I was not a main stage speaker. I was not a, education track person. I was a vendor there. But the perception was Connie's doing demonstration events and she's only having 10 people at her booth during that time. And then I had them pre-sign up. So if they were looky-loos during a break, I'd go, great, I've got this session at 3 on strategic planning, or I've got, at 4 o'clock XYZ. So I really had to get adaptable and approach that differently. But do you know how much content I was able to do? And do you know how many times if I had someone that said, I want to maybe work with you, Connie, and they say, awesome, I'll be at the Golden Chamber event and I'm doing 4 different sessions. Me, myself, and I didn't have to get permission from the chamber. I didn't have to apply to be a sponsor, right? And I'd invite people to this event. Okay. I'm going to pause there because I humbly believe lucky number 7 is my favorite, but I'm not going to tell you that, but I am. I'm going to pause and I want questions around this one before I go 8, 9, 10, because this one is like juicy. Okay. So I'm going to stop the share here. Give me feedback, unmute, go rogue. We still have 20 minutes together. What are thoughts about this demonstration event for vendor experiences, your own virtual experiences, or when you do face-to-face? And take a drink of your happy juice right there. Belinda, let's do it.
So at your events, are you at a table? Is your table a U? Are you standing in front?
Great question. Love the visuals. Okay, so you're usually like corralled in a 6-foot table, right? And you're just like, okay, this is lovely. I brought stability balls that I blew up with a hand pump, and I made a U, I swear to God, a U circle where everyone could sit on a stability ball, instill my little 10 by 10 spot for a 5-person, or if it was more space, I would ask the office staff to say, can I get another row of chairs right in front of me? And I coached or trained or educated or demonstrated to a group of 5, 6, 7, 8 as my space allocated. I worked with the event director ahead of time, so I didn't ethically feel like I feel bad. What's that, what's going on? I was like, hey, this is how I run my, education booth. This is how I do my service booth. I'll bring my own, stability balls. Everyone loved them. I brought my little clipboards. So I was in front of my table. The table was not the show. The table was Connie was demonstrating for 20 minutes, a laser coaching session. And then the last 10 minutes, they could play on the table, sign up for the table, do all the raffly things.
Cool.
See it, Belinda, and I'll show up to the next expo. I love it. Other questions on demonstration event. I'm telling you, it was the best way for me in Denver, in Dallas, and in Pennsylvania for me to have all my looky-loo people. And I'd be like, well, great. I have all these, events to, all these workshops that I'm coming to. Why don't you come and network with other XYZs, but come to my 9 o'clock and my 1 o'clock demonstration? Okay. Okay. Others. Questions? Good. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling then. I'm going to share and we're going to get to the next one. All right. So now we are on strategy 8, and this is where adult learning theory comes to mind. Instead of doing long challenges to re-engage clients or retain clients, you need to get to a place where you have 2 to 4 week customer clubs and call it a day. The days of I can do a 90-day challenge or a longer term boot camp or something around a community specific goal are gone. I do 5-day challenges, or my adulting challenge are 2 weeks long and I cap out. Now, I coach that and people get a little freaked out that it's too short. Again, the law of diminishing intent. People want to do the challenge with you. People want to do the experience with you. They want the freebie you're giving them as another engagement point to know what's going on in the world of professional law, what's going on, XYZ of productivity or leadership management. And you put them in this cohort, or you give them an opportunity to sit in, and you guys run these things for like 6 months. And you wonder why they don't convert after. They're done. They're so disengaged. Okay, so use the law of diminishing intent to your advantage. Know that about your adults, that is a real phenomenon. I experience it myself. My intent is at the highest when I hear the opportunity, and it slowly dwindles over time. The law of diminishing intent. So customer clubs need to be short. They need to be in and out. They need to be practical. And then at the end, you give a limited time offer and you're out. So I will tell you, in my group of 50 to 70 clients every year, and then my organizations, I do these only twice a year. The way I like to coach this is not an all-time, retention tool. It's you get one in the spring if you want to see in my adulting, 2-week challenge, and you get one in the fall. I don't think it's appropriate to make this every day I'm doing a digital detox. Every month I'm doing a digital detox, 5-day challenge, 5-day challenge. You're going to lose your own diminishing intent to actually want to do that. I would start with it being maybe twice a year. And again, the intention for this group is the middle level client, that they are working with you, they're loving you, but they don't quite know, I don't know, are you going to be retained? They're at, week, maybe 3rd month out of the 6-month contract that they're with you in, but it's a way to show an added value. Okay. I have all my new people pay for the customer clubs, because you want to start vetting these people that if they haven't worked with you in some capacity, in a paid capacity, they probably are not going to convert. Like, it's okay to say we got to pay to play. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we keep doing all these free challenges as a retention tool for maybe somebody that maybe coulda, shoulda, woulda, maybe will buy, do a contract with me, they're going to be the most difficult clients you have in your book of business. Okay. So when you look at your middle clientele, what can I offer them? What can be part of my email sequence? What could, a training be that I offer? Do a spring club and do a fall club and repeat that for 5 years. Like, that is I've been doing that since 2018. I just have these twice a year, either mind over matter, if that's my focus for a challenge for 5 days on mindset, or I do a 2-week challenge. And then I just, dump my people in there so that they can see a little bit more added strategy, a little bit more added content. You would fill in your blank of area of expertise. And then at the end, they get a limited time offer to continue to work with me in this capacity. So it's an upselling opportunity if it was a traditional, training that I'm giving you, but it's a way for them to see and understand, again, another modality to work with you. Because even in tonight's training, you all, and again, this is real data, you're not going to remember 80% of what I covered tonight. So for me to retain you, and I even mean just as a viable super fan, someone that understands what Connie's coaching is like, you get clarity on my style more, which all of your people need to continue to see doing, right? I do these challenges. They're quick, they're in, they're out. They're not very labor intensive for you all. Another coaching point, because you all are business owners, you're not the clients going through these, is I see so many of my clients take 6 weeks to build out a 5-day challenge for 10-minute increments. And I mean, there's zero ROI. That's negative ROI. The unbillable time that you just made for a 2-week challenge, I want you to be able to be like, Kercher, got it. February 14th, I run this thing through February 28th. I take an hour to plan the thing. It's top of mind. It's hacks. It's testimonials. It's me being able to like really just like spit off what's going to be, trends for this next year. And do not invest so much of the preloaded time, please. And make the price point very entry level and a no-brainer for you, please. There has to be some type of lower entry point, just maybe 10, 15 minutes a day that they're getting a video from you in a Facebook group, in a challenge, in a, video, Slack from you, anything like that. But please do not build out a machine that you're literally going to have negative ROI on this strategy. That breaks my heart as a sales strategist to go super duper. You had, 15 people engage in this, but you converted 2 or you renewed 2 and you put 60 hours into this program. So really watch scope control on this because we get so excited and it has to be perfect. It is okay. You do not need to be perfectionist for this one. Okay. So low entry, low engagement that has to happen on their end, maybe 10 minutes a day. Do a little self-check. If you all have ran some type of club or challenge or boot camp, 3-day detox, anything like that, you think your trainings have to be like an hour and a half. No one's going to come to that. I love you all. They must be shorter. They must be more 10, 15 minutes. Here's your action steps. Here's going to be the next point of, the next step I want you to apply, the next action step I want you to take. They need to be much more dense. Okay. All right, talking about dense, strategy 9 is that twice a year, again, I love giving you cadence. Twice a year, you go to your entire current book of business. And the reason I'm coaching this in November is because, drum roll, please, I want you to, even if your clients just signed with you 3 months ago, or they signed with you 3 days ago, or they have been with you for 3 years, at the end of the year and then right before summer. So write that down for strategy 9. At the end of the year and right before summer, you do a take action now. You can renew with me for another year at this current coaching pricing model. You can attend the retreat for take action now. We wait so, randomly that as business owners, you can't project where your income is going to come from because you're like, well, so-and-so might, renew in February and then in March. And then I don't know about my retention plan for April. And then I'm freaking out for May. And then I'm, forecasting out here. Twice a year, how I've set up my, sales kind of continuum is to say, you get the go-getter sale. That's what I call it. And you can steal that. And I would love you all to steal that. It's the go-getter sale that if you want to do X program with me, that includes the retreat, that includes this, that includes, be the first to know list. Like you want to be in that space. Here's what the package is to work with me for 2025, or here's what the package is when I say the summer. Think about this. At the summer, no matter where they're at, that's how I've been able to move, a 6-month client that's just trying, or a 10-hour client to go, super, I'll do the next year with you from next summer 2025 to summer 2026. Well, now as a business owner, I'm like, super, I've got retention for that next cycle of clients. Okay. So these are all the strategies to go. The people will know when this is appropriate or not, but don't be fearful to offer this. They're not going to feel pressured. They're going to feel it's a take action now bonus. If you want to secure your time with me or their spot for this, here's the go-getter sale. And I do it every at the end of the year and every right before summer. And I call it like the summer special bundle. Cool. Number 9 is simple, like stupid simple. But when it comes to you being able to have a great engagement point to go, oh my gosh, to work with you for another 18 months, Samantha, is this amount of dollars instead of this? If I, just keep piecemealing this part, awesome. Take now action bonus. Let me know by December 15th. We're going to lock and load your headshots, your this, and your team training for the next 2 years of your content calendar. Okay. What did you say, Samantha?
I was actually yelling at my dog, but
I was like, yes.
But
Okay.
yes.
Did you like that? Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I
Don't
love
worry,
it.
we're
I
having-
love it.
we're
My brain
dogs
is
and-
reeling from 8 though. I'm
my
like
gosh.
all over 8. Sorry.
I love it. I love it. You're like, yeah, the dog, the AC, the this, it's all good. All right. So let's roll into when you're sending the email. What do I put on for events? All I know how to do, Connie, is send out pumpkin pies to my top VIP clients and holiday cards, and that's my retention plan. I'm giving you some other 12-month, engagement points and engagement tactics to use, is that at the very end, using an engagement contest. So if they just did a workshop with you, or if they just finished a retreat with you, or they just wrapped up their bundle with you, Belinda, okay? They just did their 2-hour strategic planning, workshop as the team, or their VIP, board of directors training, right? I always then say, okay, so if within next 48 hours, because if you leave with nothing else, we're playing to the human psychology of diminishing intent. Part of the reason you are not retaining is because the intent to work with you has lost its sizzle so late in the game that when that time comes to be retained, they are so far out already. We're trying to shorten that. So I'm going to give you an example and actually then, give this call to action for you. What I would say is, okay, there's an engagement contest. And again, I do this after events. I do this after vendor events. I do this on behalf of clients that I'm coaching within their own, group or their own leadership team. And I say, tell me your greatest takeaway. Tell me how you put something on your calendar differently. Tell me how you put something, like, give me your action item in a picture. I don't want a testimonial. I want a picture. What represented your greatest takeaway? It's different, right? And then, of course, I would love a review. I'd love to give me, some keywords of what you got from tonight. But when you get someone's graphic to be like, oh my gosh, it's me with my calendar like this, or it's me like updating my CRM system, right? That's so much more social proof. Not Connie is a great coach and it is great to work with Connie. Connie is good, 5 stars, right? Like they don't sometimes know what to articulate. But telling Karma, them working in their own, kind of quiet time or something like that, to say, okay, like, post, and I will share, what you did, in our last workshop or in our last session. And it says at any time in cycling with them. So I do this about 4 times a year. So I will tell you, like February of next year, all my one-on-one clients, no matter where they're at in their cycle, I'll be like, all right, Jill, we had an awesome session today. Based on what we talked about, in the next 48 hours, I'm running a contest for all of my clients. I want you to take a picture, with your sticky notes on the side of your, home office, and just explain with the pictures, the graphics, like what it's like to work with me, post it on my piece. And I'm going to, bonus an extra hour of coaching for all of my clients. It's a great way for them to, one, be building social proof for your following and reminding them, what is it about Connie's coaching that I actually do? Because a lot of them work with you, but they don't follow through with what they're actually going to say. I don't know about your clients, but that's pretty much most of my adults. But when I say, take a picture of you doing the thing, submitting the application, setting up the, KPI tracker, right? It gives them a win. And I'm like, I'm going to share. I'm going to like that. I'm doing all the engagement for them. Okay. It's a switch on that. And then of course I'll extrapolate some type of review from that and some type of like what it's like to work with me, but it's a different way of doing engagement. Maybe do it quarterly. Don't ask your clients every month to be like, please tell me what you got from today's workshop, and send me a selfie of it or send it on my social media platforms. But it's a great way for you to go, it's validating what they're getting from you without them ever even knowing it. So then when the referral process comes, when the review time comes, when the jot form comes to say, fill out, your evaluation of working with me and where we want to head, when all of that comes, they have a visual cue to go, that is what it's like to work with me. It is such a beautiful tool. Okay. Okay. So we've got 5 minutes to rinse, repeat, ask questions, digest, and then I'll close out for next steps. Okay. But I am going to go round robin and we're going to go Krista first and then Karma. Out of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which one are you going to take action on?
I really liked the number 9, the take action bonus.
Okay.
I'm thinking in terms of, we've got a huge database of clients who did not renew their subscription on our website. So
Okay.
just give them a blast and offer them to renew in January for the whole year at like half price or something like that.
Cool. And this is where you get the laser coaching. And all of your current clients get also a bonus to sign another 2 years with them, so you don't have to sell to them awkwardly in 2 months.
That sounds great.
It's not just the humans that are going out your churn rate. I'm always talking about retention being your current clientele. How do I hold and serve them in a real way to go, this would serve you well, because you're going to get a $500 price deduction. If you go another 2 years and you sign this time, XYZ, you're locked in, you're grandfathered in. So yes, for a re-engagement, what I call that technique, a re-engagement, but for your current clientele, don't be afraid to be like, I know you're 6 months in to your 1-year contract with me. If you want to sign from May 2025 to May 2026 as a fast action bonus, here's what that would look like. Let me know in the next 2 weeks. Because I need to hold your spot for my calendar. Hence why I have 50 to 70 clients with, I don't even have to blink for the next, year and a half to go, those humans are on the calendar.
Okay. And so then we would pre-bill them and they would pay at that point if they're renewing. Like if their renewal doesn't come up until June, but they
Bingo
take this offer, okay.
Heck yeah. You can say, I'm going to do a $300 installment, to secure your 2025, 2026 contract, let's say December 31st. And then we're going to bill the new balance, let's say on February, a third of the bill. And then your last bill won't be till September of 2025. So you could still segment the payments, but you're getting skin in the game and you're getting your clients to think long-term. Y'all, I want you to think long-term for your clients. Because by the time you're starting to ask for the renewal, the law of diminishing returns has said goodbye, farewell, I'll never coach with you again. Not because they don't love you, not because you can't be of service to them. It's because the law of diminishing return is like, or diminishing intent is like, I have so many other things, I don't know, right? And then you're only asked to be retained is at the end of a contract. That's not going to feel great. Okay, Karma and then Belinda.
I think I need to revisit your first video. I find all of this overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I would probably say strategy number 9. I don't really know how I would do that because my business is so new and I'm kind of at the base of how I can expand on. Besides, like most of my work is one-on-one where I'm doing large macro psychedelic journeys for trauma and for healing. So yeah, I'm like amazing and thank you. You're awesome. And I don't know yet.
Yeah. Trust me, 20% everybody just got. I probably only just learned 20% to retain how fast that went. So don't stress. My encouragement, friend, would be as you go through events and as you start deciphering, as you watch the first video and go through today, what we all wish we knew earlier in our careers is, why am I doing all these vendor events? Why am I showing up at all these women conferences? Why am I paying $2,000 to sponsor the table at this one awkward luncheon that I pray I get one human? My Ask Karma is now look through the lens to go, do one of the outcomes for one of these demonstration events needs to not be a pamphlet and a mint at a demonstration event. The next time you go to the Mind, Body, Spirit, convention in Denver, you now do activity experiential, not, would you like to sign up for my newsletter? And then I come with a stalker free guarantee, and then you never do anything with me. We've all been there. Okay. So Karma, I think out of anything I would synthesize in my Rain Man brain, and hearing your response and reaction would go, super duper rock star. Let's focus on the demonstration events. And for the next time you show up at, women's wellness event in Boulder or some, Boulder women experience, you get really clear on what you want your experiential demonstration day to be when you do vendor events.
Thank you.
That would be the most beautiful next step. Everything else is noise. Everything else can happen in the next 6-12 months. Okay. Love it. Belinda and then Samantha.
So like everyone else, I really like number 9 because that's actually the closest to what I'm about to do. And then number 10.
Okay.
because they kind of dovetail together.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it puts you in the driver's seat. Again, you're not doing this every time you're meeting with the clientele, but it gives them an edifying moment to be like, why am I working with Belinda? And then it's a visual. Like when I just said out of my head onto paper, and if you all have ever coached with me, you all laughed because you're like, that is the visual. Or when I say the Connie train, and the people are like, they're like, yep, that's the visual I remember. That's a way for you to continue to go, you're seeing yourself and have social proof to be retained to go, what would it be not to renew with Connie? That's scary. That's the feel you want. What would it be not to retain my partnership in the magazine? Because I've done this with it and I got this in, this education point, and I got this referral. It helps them to give a visual representation of what you want them to remember doing your work with. That is all adult learning theory, because we ask all of our clients to have all these transformation experiences in our one-on-one experiences, in their retreats. And I'm like, you need to have a cognitive hook that they can remember what they're actually doing with your content. Okay. Awesome, Belinda. That went nerdy and I love it. All right, Samantha and then Jesse.
Oh my God, I think I stopped listening. I'm not kidding. I've got, look, all these notes because my mind went like at one point. So I do a Reels for Small Business challenge once a quarter, and no one ever finishes. And it's not because the content isn't amazing, because everyone is like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the workbook is amazing. But I just had this like moment where I was like, crap, Connie, why didn't you tell me this before? Because I could do 1 week a month for 4 months in a row, and they could buy 1 week or all 4, and it could be a touch point each month for, So I'm like losing my crap over here. I'm putting it all in my notes. I'm loving it. Yes. And I also love the demonstration event. I think I wrote that note down too. We got there first, so thank goodness. I will use that at my upcoming women's event. I think it's fabulous. Thank you.
And everyone thinks you're like the education like corner. And you're like, yeah, so I've got my 10 o'clock, my 11 o'clock, my 12 o'clock. And then all of your other vendors are like, I remember Connie did this in 2017. And then you become the remembered thought leader that when they network with someone in BNI in Pennsylvania, you go, there's this strategy coach. She's nuts, but she's good.
I do remember doing it at the Dots. I remember helping you set up, and you didn't hand pump. You used my electric pump. Like I remember you doing it.
The hand pump. I was like, oh, you have an electric pump. This might be better. Yeah. But I just want to encourage, again, the retention of that is coinciding of not just your paid clients, but all the other looky-loos, especially at vendor events. They want to see that and go like, there's probably 8 other coaches in all the vendor events that I've always done, but I'm always remembered for that experiential activity. Well, then people refer to go like, I've never even worked with Connie, but this is what she did at the booth. And maybe this content's in alignment with you. That's what we're trying to do at events. That's retention of why you paid $1,000 to be at that booth. That's what I mean by retention for B2B. Okay. All right, Jesse.
Okay, so I have been developing that group of presentations. Like I have 5 or 6 presentations that people hire me to come and give. And they're not lectures. They're very interactive. They're very high energy.
Love it.
And so I think the demonstration event would really work to show people that if they come to a presentation, they're not going to get me yammering at them for an hour and they're not going to remember everything. But that it'll be more of an interactive event and they can have their questions answered, but it will also help me avoid answering the same question for 4 hours straight. To be able to organize it into topics that we cover at each interval. And then people are either there or they're not, and they can take my business card and we can have a conversation afterwards where I can then segue them into setting up an appointment to figure out, cost and time and, what services they actually need. So I'm going to rock that one.
Jesse, my ask is my number 10 strategy. When you do your next event, send me a picture, post it, tag me. Like I'm showing you guys how I would do this. If I was a nutrition coach, I would say this. If I was a travel agent, I would say this. All right, Jesse, so that's resonating with you. Super duper. When you do your March, 18th event and you're killing it on the education stage that you made yourself, post it to me, give me how it feels to activate, you know, this technique that I'm giving you. I'd love to share that within my own networks. Do you see how I would use that? And now Jesse's retained. I'm just showing you behind the scenes. Jesse's retained to be like, Kercher just taught me that. You know, Kercher's doing this one. Like now it's a meaningful engagement point, not a pumpkin pie. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though maybe I'll send you a pumpkin pie too. I don't know. Okay. I don't think they can ship from here. So it's probably not. Okay. So here's how I'm going to wrap up the training. And again, the recording, if you did not come live, come to the next one. All right. So next one to wrap up December, go ahead and put this in your notes, is December 17th. Same time, sweet friends. So 3:30 to 4:30 Mountain Standard Time. So that's the third Tuesday. We're going to be focusing on sales. Okay, so for the last 2 months, again, I do a rotation of different content. It's going to be sales, and it's really going to be setting up your Q1 2025 sales mindset and some tactics. Okay, so that's your early happy hour little jam session. If I can be of service to you in exploring coaching with me, again, in a one-on-one capacity, just send me a private message either on Facebook or Instagram to go coach, and I will send you a 30-minute link. We then strategize together to go, you see my style for today, but maybe becoming a client into the future would be something of service. Love to talk that through. And if you've just been observing and looking for the Elite Entrepreneur Retreat that I do every September in Mexico, if that's at all been on your radar, would love, Samantha's the photographer that is just phenomenal, that does all of our branding photo shoots for that 6-day, 5-night experience. If that's on your radar, I close that about mid-spring for every September. Would love more information. Just send me a retreat and we'll get on a phone call for that to go if that would be in alignment with your professional development goals for next year. Okay. It's a very white glove experiential experience in the beauty of Mexico at an all-inclusive resort where then I coach for 3 days, really intentionally building up, you know, your 2026 calendar. And then my last ask.
Blowing. I'm sorry, Connie. I just had to
yeah.
say it's a mind-blowing experience. And I'm
Aw,
not just saying that
thank
because
you.
I'm the photographer. I've been there a couple of years in a row and I get something every time. So just, you
Thank
know,
you.
mark your calendar. You should.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. You should. And then my last ask is if you know a colleague that would gravitate towards this type of content. I'm not your typical coach. I'm very data driven. I'm very personal responsibility. I'm not tchotchke, you know, like maybe you'll feel good. I'm like, no, let's get tactic. Let's get strategy. Let's get thoughtful of how we're serving and building our business model that makes sense to you and that ultimately can be sustainable. So if you want to invite some colleagues or friends into December's Adulting Happy Hour, I always put that on Facebook to advertise. And then again, I always do these complimentary. So super, super happy. Yes, Karma. I love the raised hand. That was so professional. I love it.
Um, it was a while back, but you had mentioned where it was like a day-long experience with you where we dive into
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Do you still do that? Like
Oh,
this,
amen. Amen. All virtual, and we can do half days or I do full VIP days.
oh, is that what you called it? And what
Yeah.
happens in a VIP day?
Love it. So we usually pick 3 to 5 outcomes where it's like, I have built momentum to this way. I have my package this way, but I have no feeder programs. I potentially have no marketing strategy to begin the strategy, implement the strategy, exit plan for people that were, you know, looky-loos. I have no container for that. That is typically what a client will work with me when we do like a deep dive session or a VIP day is like, I have this part of my business model and I need to get 6 deliverables or tactics because I'm just stuck in a launch. I don't know how to take, you know, this one model and bring it to a new marketplace. And then
Yeah.
the only other way that I would say when we do longer VIP days is we've just have never thought about our business in a strategic way that I just kind of was like, here it is. So a lot of my VIP days, I had a client earlier today for an hour and a half. And then tomorrow we're going to jam another hour and a half, was just her talking about her 2025 KPIs, key performance indicators, and where she's going to use her resources, her networking, her programs, and how she's going to leverage some of her content. So we get a framework on that to go, she's got a roadmap for all of 2025.
Yeah, that sounds good. A roadmap to me, it's like
Okay.
I
Yeah.
work in the healing arts.
Amen.
It's like,
Amen. I
it's like
always say bye, Samantha, and bye, Belinda. Thank you, sweet friends. I always say that I'm like, if you ask me to paint something, cook something, create something, like all the spaces of I'm like, that is not my expertise zone. I'm not blessed in that way. My jam, my way of being service to this world is I'm strategy to the day is long. And yet I break down to go, here's the beginning steps. Here's the intermediate. Here's some red flags that you don't know that you don't even know. So I'm going to make an encouragement on something. So that's really my gift to this world. Everything else, I'm like a C+ player. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm an F player in this realm. And but put me in a kitchen and I can, I
See?
can help
Yeah.
you. Any
Yep.
kind of problem. You have I have a tincture, a tonic, a powder,
see?
something,
Yep.
or a
Yep.
tea for it. So
Yep.
thank
All
you.
of my clients, they are in alignment where they know their, their passion. They know exactly what to do. I'm never teaching them the massage therapy tactics. I'm never saying, Jesse, make sure you're doing your CEUs and do this. It's the strategy. It's the business model to go, Connie, I only want to work, 10 days out of the month. I now have become a slave to the trade. And I don't know how to scale my business. And I'm starting to resent the business model that I didn't even know I was the CEO of and I was the employee of. Crap. What am I doing? That's when clients come to me and say, I'm at that juxtaposition that I didn't realize I'm the full-time employee and the full-time CEO, and I don't know how to be a CEO.
Yeah, zero clue.
That's what I coach. Yep. Yeah. Jackpot. So send me a friend if that would be of interest, so that I can take an action step on that call for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Nice to meet everyone.
Hey, my pleasure. I will send you all, I will send you, Karma, the link to last month's training. I hope to see you in December. Same time frame. And then again, if I can be of service, let me know, or if anything resonates once you rest and digest this content, feel free to ask me a clarifying question on the YouTube
Thank
recording.
you.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
My pleasure. You all have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye.